welcome to Pondering Mics. My name is Ms. Stephanie, as you all know. I'm alone in the studio today, as you can see, but I'm going to be bringing on two people that you guys are going to love to listen to today. We're going to be talking about pre-COVID dating, during COVID dating, and maybe after COVID dating. As some of you know, I'm newly single, so I need some tips, and hopefully these guys will help me a little bit. We got some research to talk about. We got a couple good things to talk about. I think they're nervous, so let's get them in here as quickly as we can. Let's bring on Heather. How's it going?
Awesome.
Yeah, how are you? You doing okay?
I'm doing great. This is yeah.
Welcome. Are you excited?
I'm excited, but I'm a little nervous.
Don't be nervous. You do videos every day, all day on name the website that you have. Fix the Crown.
Well, I do them on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Vicariously through me is pretty much my call, or whatever you call that. Username on everything.
Right.
My call sign.
Kelly Cohen knows you. She says, "Hey, Heather."
Hey, Kelly.
All right, let's. We got one more person in the green room ready to come in. He's my brother from another mother, Alex. Hey, buddy.
What's up, y'all? Hey.
How are you?
How's everyone doing today? Good, good. How are you guys?
I think everybody's ready to hear what you guys have to say about dating and hopefully giving me some tips on, what I can do once I'm out there and strolling people.
Oh, boy. Are you ready for that, though?
Yeah, I don't know. After this podcast, I might change my mind and, be single the rest of my life. So we'll see. So you guys are both single. I mean, that's no news to anybody. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't have brought you on here if you were married with 15 children. But I think all of us can bring something to the table when we talk about this topic. Obviously, me being gay, single nowadays, Heather, you have I would say she was an adult. She's 18, I think she is, or 19?
19.
19. Your daughter's 19. And Alex, how old are your young ones?
6 and 4.
Nice. So there's a little bit of a difference with the dating, what we all have to go through right now. And I know that, Heather, you probably had to talk to your daughter a long time ago about dating, and now she's out there and, bringing home boys. But then how does a mom date? But how does a mom date at the same time her daughter's dating, and Alex, what he's going to raise his kids thinking, how hard it is to bring home somebody you're dating and introduce them to your kids, not introduce them to your kids, that kind of stuff. And then with COVID, none of us want anybody in our house right now. We don't want it to bring anybody home. We don't want to, until shots get done and people are wearing masks. I mean, I had a workman in my house the other day and I made him wear a mask the whole time, and I wore a mask the whole time. And, it's just a crazy time right now. So I want to talk about a couple things. I have some statistics. If everybody knows me, I like to bring up statistics and then we can talk about them a little bit. So during this COVID time, it looks like socially distanced relationships are blossoming, which I think we all kind of would understand that people are on Match.com and Tinder and, all these online, all these online websites trying to find somebody to talk to, somebody to, get to know. I'm not shy by saying that I've gotten in some good relationships with people from online. I a long time ago, I was on Plenty of Fish. I think I tried Match once. And you know what? Some of them lasted a little bit longer than others. Others, it was really for conversation. So, Alex, have you ever been like on a dating site? How did it go? Or is that just not for you?
At this point, it's really not for me. I think, I'm not really looking for a pen pal. And I feel like through the experiences of, my circle and not just male friends, but also females, just hearing a lot of the experiences there, I just kind of decided, at this point, it's not for me. That's just because I've kind of just utilized my personal network of friends, of acquaintances, or just day-to-day life. And, looking at that to be more of my dating. And I have my reasons for that too. We can talk about that later. But I think as far as the rate of success, I think for me, I view that a lot better than, just swiping and make it more of a numbers game, right? Instead of making it more of a quality, you know?
Do you think that people can't find quality online, or is that just a stigmatism that, oh, you had to go online to find somebody and you just went off pictures and that, don't you think that that's the chance that you can sit there and talk for a long period of time without that anticipation of meeting them face to face? Or do you think they're so fake online, and then when you do meet them, it's nothing like what you thought? What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's a combination of both. I think it's a combination of when you're online, you're really presenting, you know, the right angles. You're not really having a conversation. I know some people, you can't have conversations after texting and maybe taking it off the app, but for me, I'm such a outgoing person that, you know, communicating with someone via text is not the best for me. Like I don't feel like I get my personality or myself, you know, via, you know, some kind of chat. I personally, you know, face to face is what I like. I feel people's energy or their vibe a lot better that way, and
Right.
that helps me a lot more than, you know, wasting a lot of time, you know, texting with people. And plus, I'm a guy, so I have kind of a short attention span, and I can only focus
And
on
a
one thing.
physical look. Yes, I got you. Yeah.
Right. Well, then also you're talking to 5-6 different people, right? And it's just too much. I got to focus at one thing at a time.
5-6 people. What website are you on, man? I can usually only find one that I might think cute or something. Damn. What about you,
I'm
Heather?
just saying examples, okay?
I got you. Heather, what about you? Have you ever been online, had a profile, all that kind of stuff? And how do you feel about it? Do you think it's not for everybody, or what?
For me, no. It gives me massive anxiety. I did do it when my daughter was like 4. You know, I think there's this social pressure to that you're supposed to be with someone, or it's like, you're nice, why are you single? And it's like,
yeah,
because I'm nice. Like, what? Like, why can't I be single?
Yeah.
That there's something wrong with you if you don't have someone. So my dad, I love him to death, but he was like putting it out there that it's like, you need to find someone. You need to find someone to help you raise your daughter. And I was like, I do. So he paid for me to do the eHarmony thing. I went on 3 dates that I could tell you horror stories about all 3 of them.
Oh, we're gonna hear those. Maybe not tonight, but we'll hear them.
And it was, so having a daughter, I feel sorry for you guys, because for me, Stephanie knows I'm very protective of my daughter, and I don't date a whole lot. I don't bring people here. I don't do that because there's a fine line of, I want you to pay attention and acknowledge my kid. Yeah. But if you pay too much attention to her, I'm like, oh my God, they're a pedophile. And now that she's 19, I'm like, I don't know where their brain is. So
wow, protective mommy. I get it. I do get it, because I get it.
I am. So I would say most of the people that I've ever dated, I knew them for a while, or someone knows them. Okay. And I just can't random strangers. It freaks me out.
It's one of those things where, like I said, I've had positive and I've had just boring as heck. When I met my ex, it was funny because we met on a dating site the day I was canceling my subscription and she was starting her subscription. We met. So it was kind of a fairy tale there. I was getting fed up with the people that I was, finding on there. They wanted the ones that, oh, the world is great and there's butterflies and tell me your deepest, darkest thoughts and I'll be that person you'll turn to forever, and you talk to them on the phone or text or whatever. It's like, duh, or you got the ones that are like Alex said, they got 10 pictures. You're looking at the pictures, looking at their side face, looking at, okay, they look pretty good. Sure enough, they're like, well, the pictures I have online were taken like 20-some years ago and I still look the same, but that's a lie. What if you're going to start off your profile and your dating experience with a lie, then what the hell? I mean, that's just not something I just don't think I'm there again. Though it gets lonely. I mean, I do want to talk to people online. I want to talk to people, if they're cool enough, but there ain't cool people out there on those websites anymore. Vasu says, hi, everybody. He's part of the Stables Media Group. Hi, Vasu. And then it looks like Mary's already laughing at you guys, so that's pretty good. So we got a couple people in the house. So some of those little highlights I was going to read is more than a quarter, 29% of respondents reported starting a new romantic relationship since the start of the pandemic. I don't know how you do that when you don't leave your house and you have a mask on and all you see of the people's faces is their eyes. I'm not quite sure about that. It said of those that started a new relationship, 78% also frequently followed social distancing guidelines during their first 3 dates. So let's think about this. Let's go on a date. We're in the middle of COVID. Where's everybody going? You're wearing a mask the whole time. And they're saying that 78%, they followed all guidelines on their first 3 dates. That must have been the most boring 3 dates ever. So feel free to chime in while I'm telling you guys these. And then 78% of those that started a new romantic relationship during the pandemic have also ended a relationship. Because you know why? It's all the hype of meeting somebody new, woohoo, and then you get to know them because you're stuck in the same house with them, and you're like, yeah, get the fuck out. I mean, that's how I feel about that. My mom, by the way, Alex, she's a great supporter of my channel, says, I respect that, Heather. Good to screen guys that may be around your daughter, of course.
Yeah.
And Vasu again says, hey, happy St. Patty's Day. So we got some people partying already in the room. And then the last one I wanted to do, and Alex, this isn't towards you, but I want you to talk about this a little bit. It says friends are getting friendlier, with 41% of respondents reporting that they have started a friends with benefits relationship since the start of the pandemic. So Alex, not that you're a guy and I'm not like pointing you out or anything. Do you think it's smart right now during the pandemic to start a friends with benefit relationship with somebody? Be honest.
It's a good question. I think, well, it really depends on the person, right? For me, the way I kind of saw the pandemic was really an opportunity to kind of step back and, figure out what I want, right? I think it was a good time for all of us to reflect. We couldn't go out, we couldn't, fill our busy schedules as usual. So we really had time to just be with ourselves,
Yeah.
And at that time, think about what you want. But in that, you kind of turn back to your circle and maybe, some things could have popped up with friends. Do I think they're good? Yes and no, right? It really depends on what you're looking for, because you could start building that connection with someone as a friendship, right? And I'm not just saying that this is just males, but also females too, right? People like to kind of fill in that time, and you're like, well, me and this person have a lot of things in common. We have great conversation, and sure, why not, right? Intimacy is something, everybody wants. So in that case, yeah, it makes it easier. However, signals can get crossed and someone might, potentially want something more out of that. And then that's where, you're kind of at that risk. So it's just being able to communicate those lines.
Do you think as we get older, friends with benefits gets easier or harder? What do you think, Heather? Easier or harder as we get older?
I don't know how to answer that.
Well, I mean, because and I'm not putting you guys on the spot. None of this is, singling anybody out, because all of us have had a friend with benefits. All of us have had a one-night stand. A lot of people won't talk about it. Some people will. It's okay. I don't want to get personal, but I'm just thinking, there's some closer people that you might not feel 100% connected with and you might be dating, but really it's kind of a hookup friend, and it's kind of, you talk every couple of days, maybe once a week or whatever, but hey, let's go out on the weekend. You end up sleeping together that Saturday night and then see you next week. Do you think that gets easier, or do you think it gets harder right now?
That's why I don't know how to answer, because I don't know if it was easier back then or harder now.
Yeah.
I think no matter what you say about not catching feelings, that happens.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're seeing people naked and doing things, that's gonna happen. So and one might have more feelings than the other, and it kind of gets. I mean, the thought of it is cool. Like,
yeah, agreed. there's always that, like you said, I think the feelings, two people can't say, oh, we can do this. We could totally do this. Both of us just sleep together, have a good time, and, you know, do one way. Sooner or later, someone's feelings are going to come out a little bit more. You know, he's going to look at her different when they wake up that morning, or she's going to be like, oh my God, you know, he came and brought me lunch at work. Oh, he must really care about me. You know, that kind of stuff. I don't think friends with benefits works now as an adult for me. I don't think that I could do it now. I think back in the days where I either dated men or women when I was younger, I think it was easier to do it with a guy. But because when I came out and I knew where my love should be, it's not easy with me with women. So I don't, since I've ever had women, I've never had a friends with benefits as a girlfriend. So, and I think that's because when I love, and when I don't want to cross that line, because I'm the one that usually will come down with feelings. That's just who I am. So yeah, I think it's harder as I get older. So according to this, you know, women apparently have a harder time than men. That's why I asked Alex the question. So some of the other little things I thought was really good, except I have a comment right here. Let's see. Oh, I have a couple comments. Janice says, friends with benefits is the way to ruin a friendship. I agree. I don't think that you could start a friends with benefits and then be like, dude, I don't want to do this anymore. Let's just be friends. I don't think that works, because you saw each other naked, like Heather just said. You've seen things, you know, and yeah, I think that's a little scary. And then Mary says, it's just me and the dog.
Or better yet.
Yeah. What?
I was gonna say, or better yet, you know, your friend that you've had this, you know, benefit with, and the next thing you know, a couple weeks later, you don't hear from them, and then they, or her, and then they have a new, they got a new thing, and then, you know. Yeah.
Then you find out, wait, maybe I did like that chick, you know, and then it's kind of like, oh crap, now there's where my feelings, and that's where all that stuff goes. So 47% of Americans say dating is harder today than it was 10 years ago. I have to agree with that. I mean, I had no problem dating when I was younger. I dated probably a lot because I was one of those that I wanted to test the waters first, meaning I wanted to go out on dates. I wanted to feel like we're in a relationship. But then, you know, a couple weeks in, I'm like, yeah, no, you're not keeping my attention. You're not, you know, you're not talking the way I want you to talk. I've always been accused of being very picky my whole life. My parents would say I'm picky. My friends would say I'm picky. I'm not picky. I just know there's something in my heart that it has a little lever on it. And the lever can either open partially, or that lever can just be completely, you know, broken open. And it's only happened maybe twice in my whole life that lever's ever been 100% broken open. And that's a good thing, meaning that was like my love, my heart, you have me all, you know, all that. So being picky to me just means I'm trying to find that again. And, you know, like Heather, we were talking, I think we were talking yesterday or something like that. It's almost like you don't want to waste your time. Does that sound bad? I mean, do you feel like going out on dates with people that you think you might have a click with is a waste of time? Or is that the feeling out period?
That you think no, I think you kind of need to spend time with that person and see if there is that connection. I mean, if there's something a little bit there. I mean, yeah, I spent some time with someone and it took me like 6 weeks to go, and I spent a lot of time with them, and then it was like, oh no, this does not work at all. I'm out.
So after 6 weeks, was it something he did, or was it, I mean, after 6 weeks, you would think that, I mean, what is that? That's 2 months. You would think that so you were still trying. I'm falling over my words here. You were still trying to figure it out, or you were pretty much there in 6 weeks. It was like, what the hell?
Yeah, he was fun. He was a lot of fun. Like, we did stuff together, and so that part was fun, because it's like I've dated people that don't like to do stuff, and it's like I'm always like, I'm up for adventure, and you could call me at 8 a.m. I mean, if I'm not working or doing something and going, hey, do you want to go take a road trip? And I'm, yeah, let's go.
It. Right.
So I love that stuff so this part was fun, but then I realized some other stuff that I was like, wow, he probably doesn't know a single thing about me, because he only talks about himself all the time. Like,
right.
And I was realizing I was kind of like, I mean, I don't think I have a huge personality. I'm not overbearing, but it was like, I like to have back and forth conversation.
Yep.
And I was realizing we don't have that. And I'm like, man, all this stuff is fun. Riding on motorcycles and flying and all that stuff's fun. But
It's
the
that
other
quiet
stuff-
time. It's that time alone. So I feel the same way. And Alex, I think you're probably like this because you like to go out and do stuff and sit, winery, having some, chats. I think now it's easier to go for those road trips, go to those fairs, go to, I don't know, a store or something like that together and have a really good time. But when it's quiet and you need to have a conversation with her or him, and you need to like kind of figure out if they're like surface talk or if it's deep talk. Heather and I were talking today, Alex, about this, about texting and how sometimes the person's texting you more for their benefit and not for yours. Like they'll be like, hey, how's it going? And you'll be like, oh yeah, today at work, I did this and this. And it might be a small paragraph. The person doesn't acknowledge it, doesn't really say anything to that, but goes, oh yeah, you know what happened to me today? This is what happened to me today, and blah, 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 blah. And their surface talk is all about them and not about like how you're doing. They never call or text you just about you. Like just about you, like, oh, thought of you came over today. And God, I wonder how you did on that test. Or damn, I wonder if you got that review, from your boss. Do you feel like that happens a lot today to you, Alex? Or that you do that to other people?
Be
Be honest. I mean, it's good.
Yeah, no, I'm really trying to think here. Just because I'm a lot more mindful, and that's just the type of person I am. Yeah, I don't really have an answer for that.
Yeah.
But I do understand like what you're saying as far as you'll have people they'll really reach out instead of saying, hey, I want to tell you about something. They'll kind of give you the BS like, how was your day? And they're like, oh, well, my day was, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, okay,
Right.
well, maybe you could have just led with that. But yeah, I don't really have an answer for that.
Do you, when you text a girl that you're kind of interested in, are you like a pretty much a big flirt during that text? Let's say you're in the dating period of a couple weeks, or do you text to really kind of figure out, like who she is and what she did today and that kind of stuff? Or do you think that you're kind of, to the point, here's a text, let's go out? What kind of guy are you on text to your girls?
As far as text, to be honest, I try to keep it minimal. I try to keep it to the point.
That's good.
Right? Like
Yeah.
there's got to be a purpose to the text message, because I feel like for me, text message is to either set something up or, the next time, we're going to hang out. Again, for me and my personal advice would be, either get on a phone call. You'll find like one of the things that irks me are people that will have these paragraph text messages with you back and forth. It's like, it's going to take, 15 minutes to have this conversation that you can literally have in 5 minutes.
Right.
It's like, well, why don't you just call me? And the other thing too with technology, right? You could do FaceTime, right? Hey, let me,
True.
So those things I like personally, because I feel like you can really vet people so much better. And then you can also tell, right? The people who are really uncomfortable, like they might be great at text messaging, boom, boom, boom. And then you get on a phone call and then it's like silence and you're the one talking. So you already know like, man, this person is going to be boring face to face,
Right.
So that
They
those are one
hide-
of the things that I think are way better.
Right. I think they hide behind texting, and I'm getting to the point too that if you want to talk to me, you can call me. And I know that I have friends that don't like to talk on the phone, and it gets Heather. But like Deanne, DZ, who's been on my show before, she says if the word more is after your text, so your text is a long paragraph and it says more and you have to hit that button to see the rest of it. She said if your text is ever that long, she ain't responding. You know what I mean? It's one of those where just call, just talk, and you don't have to talk for hours, but just be like, oh my God, this happened to me the other day, blah, blah, blah. It's a lot easier to do that than to go, this is what happened to me. Oh, backspace, damn it. I'm getting now to the age, which I hoped I never would get to. Texting's a pain in the ass. And I don't get to know somebody. I look into it and you think that they're, screaming or exclamation or what did they mean by the word the? What is that? And my mind starts to go. And I'm honest about that.
Well,
I don't like tones.
Well, then you
in
start.
text. Go ahead.
You start to find yourself like maybe like rereading a text that you might have sent. You're like, whoa, when I was typing this really quick in the heat of the conversation, you go back and read it, you're like, oh, wait, hold on. right? Or you
Yeah.
might catch yourself rereading a text that person sent you. And again, there's so much when it comes to conversation, there's so much about context, right? And if you're kind of
Right.
like in that bantering, like flirting with someone, getting to know each other, I mean, you might you might think you're saying something, but that person might interpret it, or vice versa. So that's why I always
Right.
try to have conversations,
Yeah.
just to get a better feel of the other person.
Right. I agree. I think that there's something about a human voice. No, go ahead, Heather. I agree. Go ahead.
Just on the flip side of why texters are texters.
Yeah, tell us.
Some of us, it's more, we can, like we might have roommates or people that we live with that it's not even, I mean, we're not trying to hide anything, but it's just more personal. And it's like, everyone can hear your conversation and everything. So it's, for me, it's just, it's not that I don't like talking on the phone. It's just like, I feel like I'm trapped there and I feel like I can't say what I want to say, or.
But
So,
is that because you can't be yourself when he texts you and calls you, or you can't? Are you afraid that people around you will think that you're like not Heather talking to the guy?
no, it's just like I don't want everyone in my personal conversations.
Gotcha. I got it. That's
In
true.
my house.
But let's say
Yeah.
let's say if you strip that out of there, let's say you strip that out, right? Like, let's just pretend that you don't have those environments. Well, would you still prefer to text someone, or would you prefer to have a conversation?
Probably both. Like, I would like talking on the phone more if I could talk and be open and not, worried about that.
Well,
So
you are moving into your own place soon, and I know that will probably be a change. Yeah, Heather's going to be calling both of us, Alex, all over the place. Hey, I can talk to you. No one's around, But I wanted to throw this in there really quick. It said, among those who say dating is harder today, 21% think it's because of increased risk, including physical risk as well as the risk of getting scammed or lied to. Women are twice as likely as men to cite increased risk as a reason why dating is harder. So increased risk, I don't think that's ever come across my mind. I've never been afraid to go on a date. I did have one date with a girl that wanted to meet, back behind Lake Hodges, there's a restaurant, like a Mexican restaurant back there. Alex, have you ever been there before? Oh, what's it called?
The Hideaway?
Yeah, like her, Hideaway, yeah.
The Hideaway. We went back there and we were the only two people at the restaurant. And I swear, and it was probably our third date. When we were walking kind of by the water, she's like, hey, come on, let's go down here. Let's go down here. Only once did that cross my mind of, holy crap, we're alone out by the lake. And believe it or not, it was a year after that guy killed that hiker from Rancho Bernardo, and she was down in that area, remember? Mm-hmm. That freaked me out. That was the only time ever I went, let's go back to the restaurant or, like somewhere else. And I mean, I'm a pretty big girl, but she was pretty strong. She was in the military. And I that was the only time I ever got scared. Alex, have you ever gone, and you're a guy, I understand this, but have you ever gone somewhere so sketchy to meet a chick and be like, this isn't cool. I don't like this. Have you ever been on a date that kind of freaked you out a little bit?
No, because obviously the dynamic between, I'm almost 6'2", I'm pretty tall,
Yeah.
So not in that way. But what I will say is, being in a different environment, as far as like, let's say you're kind of dating someone, and, as you start to like get to know someone, you find out their family, right? They're friends. So, one of the things I believe in is, in order to really know someone, is getting to know their circle, right? So it's like, hey, well,
right,
let's go hang out with your friends. And so sometimes you could, I think maybe I was in a position one time, maybe they weren't her friends, but like her friends, maybe in some area where it was kind of sketchy people around.
Yeah.
I'd say that's about it. But no, not in a way where, like your experience.
Yeah, not my experience. No girl brought you down by a lake and went, come on, let's go for a walk.
Yeah.
What about you, Heather?
I mean, if that happened, that probably would have been a benefit, right?
Yeah, you would have been like, you want to go on the boat? What about you, Heather? Did you ever like a guy tell you to meet him somewhere, or you guys ever went somewhere and you were just kind of like, this isn't safe, or you just felt the most vulnerable, meaning that it just didn't feel right? Does that ever happen to you on a date?
I'm sure it has, but I mean, there's nothing that like totally
Pop.
sticks out in my head that is like, oh my gosh, there's this person. Because like I said, I mostly date people I know
Yeah.
or someone knows, so I don't freak
Yeah.
out too bad.
So no.
Yeah, not any crazy story that I could tell you.
All right, everybody, these are my guests, and they suck, and they don't have any bad stories.
I have bad stories.
Just about that. That's funny. So let's see. Some of the other things I think are really interesting. Many singles are open to dating someone who is different from them, but certain characteristics would give some people pause. And I think this one was funny. Distance. So obviously, dating somebody in LA versus San Diego, it's only going to last so long before you go, this is a little far for us to see each other only on Saturdays and Sundays. Debt. Voting for Donald Trump tops the list of reasons singles looking for a relationship would consider a potential partner. And this is going to be a very funny political part. For example, 38% say dating someone 10 years older would give them pause, and 36% say the same about dating someone who is raising children from another partner. And so obviously the Donald Trump part kind of made me laugh. I don't even want to go into it because we don't talk politics on my show. But the children one is why I think this is interesting for both of you. So, question to both of you with dating. I don't have children, so I'm not quite sure. I know how I would probably feel about dating people with children. Heather, does having children, younger or older, put any kind of pause on you dating somebody? Let's say everything about him's pretty cool, everything seems pretty nice, but he might have children, 3s, 4s, or he might have children's 22, 23 that still live at home. Does any of that become a factor for you?
It doesn't. And the only thing that I just dated someone, that person I was talking about, that didn't have children. And that's more concerning to me than having children. The only thing with dating someone that has kids is the ex psycho crazy kind of thing, and how much drama is there with that, because I have had that happen. I've had people stalk me and stuff that I'm like, I'm not trying to be your kid's mom. I'm not trying to do any of that. So as long as the mom is kind of cool, I have no problem with that because I'm a parent.
Yeah.
I have kids,
So younger would be okay with you? I mean, if he had a 3 and a 4-year-old and, he needs to take him to school, he needs to get babysitters, he needs to, do swaps with his ex-wife. I mean, does any of that put any kind of flags in you at all?
No, I have no issue with that.
Not at all. Perfect. No. And older living at home, 23, 24-year-olds. I mean, we're in our 50s, early 50s. Thank you. Does any of that matter to you if he has a 22, 23, 24-year-old living at home?
Not necessarily, because it totally depends on the circumstances. That things would bother me if this child is at home and like a total freeloader, doesn't do anything, doesn't go to college, they're just paying for everything and let them do whatever. That would bother me, because I'm like, why aren't you parenting that kid for them to be their own person? Right. My kid might live with me for a long time. I mean, we get along awesome, but she goes to school, she's responsible, pays her truck payment, that kind of thing. So yeah, if she's living with me when she's in her 20s, like, I would hope someone wouldn't go, "What's wrong with you?" Yeah. I like her. She's awesome and she's fun. So,
but what if he said that to you? What if the guy said, he's my 24-year-old son, he's my best friend, he lives here and he doesn't have a job right now, but I support him?
If he wasn't going to school or wasn't doing anything,
right,
I would be kind of like, that's kind of weird, honestly.
Okay.
I mean, straight up honest, like a 24-year-old guy at home not doing anything, like watching TV. There's something off with that, and I would be like, no.
That would interfere with your relationship with the dad.
It would.
Okay.
It would.
Honest, honestly. I love it. Alex, what about you? Same question, of course, but how do you feel knowing that you have younger kids? Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Everybody grab your drink, sit back. Here goes Alex. Alex, I'm going to fill up my drink while you're talking, but go for it.
All right. Well, for me, I am a little careful about, who I would bring around my kids.
Yeah.
And one, because they're little, and being from two-parent household, I'm a little cautious. For me, I want to spend this time with them. They're gonna get older, so I'm trying to maximize that time with them, and
Right.
so I am. But if the woman is very how should I say, motherly, like for instance, my last relationship, which is funny because she lived in Orange County, so it was kind of a long distance relationship.
Right.
Talking about an hour drive. She had a son as well, which worked out. That's the other thing that Heather was mentioning. For me, it also kind of matters as well who I'm dating, if they have a kid. And I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
Because like just Heather said, you have to deal with the other parent. Not really deal with the other parent, but you also have to be mindful that kid, has another parent there. And so it just makes things a little bit harder. I think me being, a male, I'm still not there in a position where, let's say, I do get in a long-term relationship with another one that has a kid. For me to share my resources, my time, when I already
Right.
have two young, small kids, it's something that I'm still kind of working out,
Right.
working through it and trying to understand what I want. And so dating someone with no kids is something that seems, like something, that I would want to explore. Absolutely.
Better.
Because
Okay.
yeah, I mean, because there, again, you don't have to deal with that, in looking down 10, 15 years, or, let's say
Right.
that woman did have a kid, and so you're not their parent, right? So you can't really
Right.
discipline. You're not, if they do have the father's still in their lives, you still have that, kind of weird mix. So, I'm in that position where I'm in my mid 30s, I do have some time to figure out, do I want to be with someone or date someone that has a kid? For sure, I date someone that has a kid. And my last relationship was great. It's just the distance a little bit, and also,
Right.
them having a kid. I just didn't know at the time. So, I figure it'd be better to figure that out.
If the girl you were dating had kids about the same size, or same age, yeah, whether they're this tall, same age as yours, would you find it easier to merge the kids and have them meet sooner because it would be the kids that were bringing you and her together, or would you still feel there's a time and a place and a amount of days or dates before you bring somebody to meet your two kids?
Well, you could look at it two different ways. You could look at it in a way. So I'll give you like a scenario, personal scenario. So you could look at it as in, oh, you have kids that are in the same age range. Well, you know what? Maybe we could meet, like at a cool park or something, so that you can kind of sniff test the whole environment, right? Like, how is she as a mother? Because that's really important, right? She
Right.
then can see how is he as a father, and then also the kids can kind of meet new friends, and it's not in that awkward situation, right? When they're same age that my younger kids, so I think you could go about it that way. That's a good way to do it. If you're just starting to date someone and you start doing all that, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a way to do it. To meet up somewhere and like, oh, hey, it
Right.
just kind of breaks it up a little bit. The other thing too, like you said, age difference. And also, I would be very, very cautious. It's funny, Heather, you were talking about, having a daughter. I've also thought about, like, well, what if the person I was dating had a son? So it kind of worked, right?
Right.
Because I have two boys, and so it did work a little bit easier. But then looking at it now, I'm thinking, well, if I meet someone and let's say she has two daughters, whether let's say they're in kind of the same age range, well, that could be a potential,
Right.
problem.
Right. So you
Merging
like
families
dating?
together, just because.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, there's so much that it's just hard. You're trying
I
to be
guess,
mindful about it.
yeah, because you don't want to date a guy that has in Heather's instance, has a guy that's 19, 20 years old, And here you are going to dinner and they're meeting the daughter, and the daughter looks at the son and they go, oh my God, I'm madly in love. And then you like the guy. I can see some problems there. And I don't think that would be really cool if the mom and dad were dating and the son and daughter were dating. I think that'd be a little freaky. Yeah. Okay. Let's go on. Half of singles say they aren't currently looking for a relationship or date. So we talked about this. So I'm on the cusp. I think after my last relationship, which, you know, I don't talk bad about any of my relationships. I think all of them are learning experiences. And I think I'm ready to just kind of, venture out a little bit. I'm changing my lifestyle and my weight. And, now that the house is getting fixed up and things like that. Work, of course, is good, so I think I might have something to offer somebody, because it's going to take a little bit for me to find that person that I'm willing to offer something up to. And now with COVID, of course, what are you going to do? We still can't just go to a bar, so it's going to be a slow process, but I mean, I'm willing. And according to this, it says among these single non-daters, 47% say a major reason why they aren't currently looking for a relationship or dates is that they have more important priorities. While 44% say they just like being single, other factors include being too busy, 20%, not having any luck in the past, 18%, feeling like no one would be interested in dating them, 17%. Not being ready to date after losing a spouse or ending a relationship, 17. Feeling too old to date, 17. I'll never be too old to date. Or having health problems that make it difficult, 11%. So how do you guys feel about those percentages? I think that they're actually pretty darn accurate. I think there's a lot of people out there that just want to be single. When they're sitting at home on a Sunday afternoon and they're looking around going, I'm a little lonely, I still think the majority of the time they would rather be single. Going out with your friends and stuff will fill those voids that I think some people are missing. And not dating, if you're happy with yourself and with what you have, and you're blessed with a job and children in your guys' case, and health and love from other aspects, I think somebody could stay single and be happy. Do you guys, Joe Madden, my other partner, says single for the win. So how do you guys feel about that? I know that, Alex, we've talked a little bit about your relationships and kind of what you're looking for and kind of not what you're looking for. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'ams. Is that all you need right now to fill in the voids while you're looking for that girl? Is there a time that you're looking, or do you just feel like staying single for a while and seeing what happens? Are you a, wing it kind of guy? What kind of guy are you?
I definitely have a plan. I got divorced. It's coming up on 3 years here in about, in the summer. So, I know you love statistics, right? And I do as well.
Yeah.
As the divorce rate is, over 50%.
Yeah.
And this is a perspective from a male, from a guy, right? And
Right.
8 out of 10 are usually initiated by the woman. So there's a lot to think about before going into, a long-term relationship, or, potentially cohabitating with someone, and just putting the kids aside. Like you said, with relationships, you don't really lose, you learn. And so I think a lot of, those statistics, it's crazy. You're naming them off like, yes, yes, yes. But I think a lot of people are seeing a lot of value in, turning that mirror back at them, right? Looking into themselves and figuring out, what can I bring, to a relationship, being whole, right? Because many times people will jump in these relationships, or they'll seek this attention or validation from others, when they really should be seeking it from themselves, to kind of clean up your own mess, so to speak, or your own traumas that you've had, because you don't want to go into something and then putting all your past into that person that's in front of you in the present. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So I think people are seeing a lot of value in cleaning up, your side of the street, being the best person you can be, so that you attract the kind of person you want, and figuring those things out, figuring out what kind of values you want that person, what kind of belief system do they have, what kind of family, and those things. So I think people are doing that to invest more in themselves, so that they can get the outcome in the person that's going to complement their lives.
And that's where we went back into the picky part of it. So, in a couple of my past relationships, I was very upfront, and I'm getting there more and more as I date and go through the years, very upfront about what I like. I'm very upfront about what it will be to make me happy. And I have always said, and I still can't find the exact person that will want me, but not need me. And I find that starts the relationship, but then towards the end and the middle, or the middle and the end, it starts to be more of the needing and not the wanting. I've always said, one of my famous sayings, and I can't even remember all of it, is I want the girl to reach for my hand, because that right there shows you she's not thinking about her at that moment. She's thinking about you, and she wants to grab your hand to either show people that, you know, that you're hers, or that she wants to hold your hand because she loves you at that moment, or, you know, just that look or things like that. That to me is more important than you needing me to make you dinner or call you at 3 o'clock every afternoon to say, how's your day? Needing to make the rent or needing to do that. I want somebody that wants me and knows that there's flaws. Of course, there's always flaws. There's flaws that can be lived with in your relationship, because that love will overpower all of the other stuff. So Heather, what do you think about being single? Do you think nowadays it's okay for somebody to want to be single, and not have to worry about everybody stereotyping you as, you know, like you said, we're cute, we're fun, we have great personalities. You know, I've always been told, Stephanie, you're the life of the party. Why are you single? I hate that comment. I really, really do. And your circle, my circle hang out together. And that's the same thing that all of our friends say. You're so awesome. Why are you single? What do you say about that? And how do you feel about people who are single? And by the way, Alex Janice says, very wise. So you're getting some compliments, buddy.
Real quick,
So, Heather,
real quick. Hold on, before you answer, Heather. When you start getting those questions, why are you single? You're so great. Just tell them, I'm single by choice.
Mm-hmm.
And once you say that, they'll cut it out.
But then they'll always go on. They'll
Yeah.
always go on with more. Well, why? Did you never find the right one? Did you? Believe me, I've done it. I'm 51 years old and I still hear it. But Heather, tell me about your single part of it. What do you feel?
I think single is becoming, like, I don't want to say the cool thing, or like, I want to say, like, I was single before it was cool.
Yeah.
But it's just, I think it's more acceptable. I'm in a lot of women's groups. Just, I like being around strong, you know, like-minded, kind of goal-oriented people. And there's groups on Facebook like that. And there's a ton of some single people. And then there's other ones that like need a date. But I find the ones that are so worried about you being single are actually most likely in an unhappy relationship.
Right. I agree.
It's kind of
That's
interesting. And
Right.
I just tell them, I'm like, because when they say, oh, why are you single? I'm like, because I like being single. I like it. I'm busy. I've never, even when I'm dating someone, it's like, I'll come hang out with you if my daughter's not doing, or if my daughter has plans, because I like hanging out with her first. Like, that's my, and now it's a little bit different. She's older. She likes her alone time, but
of course she's getting that age.
But it's, I don't know. I think, to me, the ideal marriage would be like, you could live kind of close to each other, but have your own spaces.
I love it.
You have sleepovers, but you can still have your own thing. Like,
I don't know. I'm gonna say thumbs down to that. No way. That wouldn't work.
okay, so we're not getting married.
No,
Okay.
you're not getting married. The two of you are not married, because it's not going to work that way. But you know, it's funny you say that. Just because we want, and not saying I always want to be,
but
not that we always want to be single. I mean, right now, or certain times of your life, you might want to be single. It doesn't mean we don't want sex. It doesn't mean we don't want the closeness of a relationship. We don't want that. It's just that at that moment, we're kind of content, and that sex drive is not running our day. Now, Alex, you're a guy, and we all know about science. We all know about certain things that's a little different for men, that men have a little bit more of that sex drive that really needs to be fulfilled, when a woman needs their emotional clock to be filled. But that still doesn't mean we don't want sex. That still doesn't mean we don't want, you know, that romance and that relationship. It's just that we're stronger on the inside to understand that we get that euphoria of love from other things that kind of fulfill your tank at that moment, you know? So just don't think that we're prudes and we don't want sex, because, you know, we do want sex.
No, no, but see, I'm also finding that I think for women, right, and you know, maybe you guys could, you know, agree, but I think for me, finding a purpose, right, even a woman, right, like to date someone like you were saying, Heather, where or Stephanie,
Yeah.
where it becomes you want or they want you, they don't need you, right? But then it starts to
Right.
turn into that need, and then that turns you off. Well,
Right.
that typically happens because people don't have purpose. They don't have a purpose, right? So it's like one of the things with COVID that people were able to step back if you didn't want to date, or you know you didn't want the risk. Well, this is a perfect opportunity for you to find your purpose, and I think you become more attractive to the opposite sex when you have that purpose, right? At least
Right.
for a man, right? If I think, what's the ideal woman I want? Well, that woman's going to want a man that has a purpose, right? That has some kind of goals, that has drive, and that keeps that attraction. And you know, one of the things that I feel is, you know, finding the right person for me would be someone that has, you know, unburning desire to want to be with me, right?
Right.
For those lists of things, right?
And not in a crazy
So
way, just
no,
want that
no,
desire. Right. That desire
yeah,
is a key word that can be taken, you know, in different ways, because some people can think desire means, you know, their eyes are wide open and they're looking at you like they
yeah,
want to, you know, scrunch you up. Desire is that they not that they think of you 100% as an equal, but that they're thinking about you. And that's hard to find, because a lot of, like you just said, their thoughts about themselves are overpowering, you know, what they need to give. And I'm very open and will make my wife or my girlfriend very happy if I can get certain basic things for myself. And my love of being wanted, if that tank gets at least 75% full, my wife and girlfriend are going to be the happiest things in the world, because I'm going to be able to give them more because I feel more, you know? But if you're not filling that tank for me, then my want to be in that relationship and my want to make you happy will start to lower little bit by little bit. And I just won't be in it anymore. And I don't want that kind of relationship again. I'm at the age now where, shit, who's going to wipe my butt when I get older? I already asked a couple people and they said no. So they did say they'll pay somebody else to do it, but they won't do it. So, you know, it's that kind of thing. And getting both your perspectives on it is good. Because like I said, you know, Alex, I need you to be that guy that tells us the truth. You know, you need to get out there and you need to date because your sex drive is there. But I know deep down inside, I've talked to you many, many times that there's a really kind guy that's looking for that one. And I'll put a picture in your head, that teacher that is that caring and nurturing kind of woman, but yet, you know, will call you up on a Friday at 4:30 and say, I'm going to the bar. Are you meeting me there? Let's go. You know, I know that that's the kind of woman that you're looking for. Where are you in your life right now with relationships? Are you open right now with COVID going on, or are you just still kind of sitting back waiting for a couple more months when everybody's got shots in their arms?
you asking me? I guess you
Yeah,
did say, Alex.
I did.
You know, I think for me, it's just really defining what I want, right? And that takes some time. You know, I was in a marriage for, I think it was 6 years, but we were together for almost 10. So, you know, and then also being in the trenches of, you know, raising two young kids, taking them to school, picking them up from school, you know, weekends, and so I'm at a place where I'm just kind of building the foundation and thinking of what is gonna, you know, what it's gonna fit for my life. What do I want, you know, out of a partner, right?
Yeah.
So I'm more of in a traditional mindset of, you know, I did have a wife, I provided. That's kind of, you know, what I prefer, you know, having those options. So I got to, you know, rebuild that piece there. But it's really figuring out what I want. What I don't want to do is just waste time, right?
Yeah.
And just start dating,
Right.
and then thinking that I'm going to figure out what I want by dating a whole bunch of people, instead of just taking a step back. This is what I want, and I'm going to reverse engineer to get to that point,
Right.
you know?
Right. And Heather, what about you? In this point of your life with COVID and things going on, where's your dating status and your mindset right now?
My mindset is so not on dating, just like what Alex was talking about. I'm more about growing my business and working on myself, and my daughter's part of that business. So we're kind of mother-daughter team. And that's where my focus is. Like dating is just, I'm not there right now. And
Right.
I'm enjoying all this time, and I'm enjoying discovering more about me and what's acceptable and boundaries and all that kind of stuff. Because even though I thought I was kind of there, like I did some stuff a couple years ago, almost 2 years ago, that really helped me with that.
Yeah.
Then I started dating that person that I was telling you, and I was like, wait a minute, I need my boundaries, because I just let some of my boundaries go, where I was accepting kind of that like submissive. I don't like that. So no, reset the boundaries and reevaluate that stuff. So I'm not out there looking. I like organic things that just kind of happen. You
Love it.
Go, oh,
Right. Yeah. I'm kind of the same way. I mean, my job puts me out there in the public and stuff, though obviously I would never date somebody I work with. I'd never date one of my clients. I'd never date anybody from a business I work with. But it's nice to be out there, because I feel nostalgic when it says, I think she'll just cross my path one day. I don't need to work for it anymore. That's not something that's going to happen. Whether or not I find it online or not online, I still think she's just going to cross in front of me one day. And I'm just going to look at her and just be like, I want to get to know that person. And she'll feel the same way. And that's not love at first sight. And that's not, everybody has their one person they're in love with for the rest of their life, and there's only one person on earth. I don't believe in that. Yeah. But I do believe that when you talk to somebody, you're gonna know. I think that I'm just done working on it. Does that make sense? Or does that sound like, I'm bah humbug, I want to stay in my room? I just think I'm just done trying at the moment. And like you said,
yeah, it totally makes sense.
Yeah. And it's hard because I don't have anything holding me back, but it's just the time and stuff. Last thing before we end this nice conversation about love and relationships and dating and all that. One of the polls said, they were talking about how over half of Americans say their sleeping habits have worsened since this year. But then they also say that a new comfort zone has happened within this year. And one of them was, let me see where this says, what does that mean? The top signs of comfort zone were revealed to be sleeping in the same bed was 48%. I didn't know that was a problem when people were married, but I guess it is. Meeting a partner's family went up 38%, and leaving the bathroom door open was 37%. So with that in mind, I want to ask you something. There's an addition to being naked around the house together went up to 28%. Being comfortable around them while wearing only underwear. So here's my question to both of you. How long do you need to be in a relationship before you leave the bathroom door open and you walk around with just your underwear? When and what part of the relationship do you start to do that? I'm going to go with Heather first on this one.
Well, if it's just you two in the house and no kids, I mean, I don't know, walking around with underwear, whatever.
But how about dating? Not like him living there, but let's say dating, dating. Do you leave the bathroom door open the first month?
Never. To me, I don't want to hear it, smell it, see it. I just I don't care if I've been with you for I don't know how many years. I don't.
So guy, he gets up in the morning, you're about to make breakfast and your bathroom's kind of near, and he just leaves the door open and goes pee. That's not a go for you?
It doesn't. I mean, that's not such a big deal. I don't really want to hear that or see it. It's like, I don't know. It's really weird because I'm very open and not like weirded out about stuff, but I don't know. Yeah. I just think like close the door. I don't want to hear anyone. I don't want to hear I don't want to hear anyone.
And then we'll go to Alex in a second, but the last one was, what about wearing either just your underwear or walking around naked with somebody in the house? Like you've been dating and it's been like 6 months. Do you find that okay at that point, or that's still
I don't know. It totally it depends on the relationship and what's happening. Like I'm not weird about that, but I'm cold a lot, so I'm probably not gonna walk around my underwear.
Okay, Alex, a little different for a guy, but let's go with the peeing with the door open and all that. You okay with your chick coming home and keeping the door open and peeing while you're there and all of that?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I'm laughing because I'm getting a perspective of Heather's perspective. But yeah, like even if she's sitting on the toilet peeing and she leaves the door open, I mean, like, hey, how do you want, breakfast or whatever? Like I don't care about this. If you're going number two, then yeah, I'm
Yeah.
officially going to shut the door.
Yeah.
She should, shut the door. Or, the other things as well, like showers, right? Like I'll leave the door open, like, maybe
Yeah.
even hand them a drink, a
Yeah.
shower drink. Those are pretty
Yeah.
cool. So
I
yeah,
do that.
I'm super
Nice.
open about that. Yeah, absolutely, right? Or yeah, if I'm getting up to pee in the morning and she's walking by, whatever. Like
Yeah.
I don't care about that stuff.
Janice, of course, says 55 years. Yes, my mom and dad have been married for 55 years. Bathroom door closed. I think that's pretty funny. And it's like after that amount of time, you're like, yeah, whatever. And Alex, what about you walking around the house naked, which is different than a woman walking around? I just have to say that I think it's funny, but it's true. A guy walking around the house naked is a lot different than a girl walking around the house naked. How do you feel about that?
I feel, I mean, yeah, like for sure, like naked, like, depends on the situation, but yeah, I'm rolling around in boxer briefs. Yeah, 100%. If we've already seen each other naked, then you better believe that I'll be cruising around in boxer briefs.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. Absolutely.
I like it. You guys, you're awesome. I don't know if I've told you that. We've got an hour. Alex yesterday said, "Oh my God, that's not going to be enough time." I need to have you both on. We need to still explore this single, and then hopefully, by that time, one of us will be like, "Hey, I'm not single anymore," or maybe not. Maybe we'll all just realize that. Yeah, exactly. I always give my clients. Geez, I'm all about work right now. I'm still thinking about work. I'm all about my guests, talking about if there's anything that you guys want to talk about. So, Heather, why don't I give you 2 minutes? I know what you're all about, but you know what? Why don't you plug your, the 2 sites or whatever that you're involved in and whatever else. You got 2 minutes. You got the floor. Go and do whatever you want.
My ketones? I can talk ketones? Okay.
Do it.
So I don't have my ketones with me, but ketones, if you guys don't know what ketones are, heard about keto diet, it's not the diet because who wants to do a diet? You just drink these. And if you guys are having, if you live with someone in pandemic, this is really good for mood. It helps. My mom, my daughter, and I all live in the same house, and we've all survived the pandemic because we're in a better mood, better energy, sleep. This is my business. This is my passion because I used to be super, super tired, exhausted, not happy, not sleeping at night. And it's just changed everything for me. I have a better life. So I'm super, super passionate about helping anyone that wants some of that or just wants to be around like-minded, positive people. Come to me. rocktheketones.com is my website. Or you can connect. I don't know, Stephanie, do you put connect?
I can. I'm going to put it right now. rocktheketones.com.
That's my website to order, but you can contact me too. You can post my phone number on there if you want.
I'll do that right now.
No, no Y.
Oh my.
K-E.
Excuse everybody. Let me take this off a little. I guess I should have done this beforehand. Okay, keep talking. Go ahead.
And then I'm also a photographer. I'm an event photographer, which obviously I was. I'm a concert photographer. I did shoot a lot of concerts. So
don't be shy. You are she's lying, you guys, first of all. She is an amazing photographer, has the most pictures of all these rock bands. They call her and ask her to come and video and shoot the concerts. She's just not nobody. I mean, the pictures she has are flipping amazing of all these, famous bands. So don't count yourself, like that. But go ahead. Sorry, I didn't interrupt you.
I just can't. There's COVID, so I haven't done anything in almost a year. So. Sure. But yeah, that's my passion too. I do love event and concert photography and anything like that. So that's me. But
I always told Heather that and on my podcast, everybody knows I have the most like amazing friends, because if I get married, I have somebody that does invitations. I have a photographer, which was Heather. I have a singer. I have all of these people, all my friends, that I have a perfect wedding. I just need a wife now. But I have everything to go with the wedding, and Heather was going to be the photographer. So, Alex, with that said, man, I know what you do for a living and stuff like that. But man, if there's anything that you want to talk about, passion that you want to talk about, something you read, you got the floor, my man.
Yeah, no, well, thanks for having me on. And yeah, I don't really have anything to promote at the moment. I'm just, like I said, right now at this point, just enjoying the time that I had with, expanding my network, raising 2 young kids, and, working my butt off to, keep reaching the goals that I'm setting for myself. But, if anybody wants to reach out for, positive, like-minded, or, anything that potentially I could be of help or service, you can reach me on my Instagram page at AlexG, PLZ, and that's kind of the way it's spelled there, AlexGeePLZ, and feel free to reach out, send me a message, and feel free to connect.
So it's ALEG, right?
ALEX.
Yep.
As in Alex?
Yeah, I got that part.
So yeah, let me see.
And then G.
Yeah, G. EEPLZ.
That's Instagram, so that's at Alex.
Yeah.
Like this. Let me see. Is that what it is?
That's it.
Nice. You
That's
guys,
it.
Alex is awesome. He works for a great company. And so if there's anything you need, but you know what, once this pandemic is a little slower and we're able to go out and meet and do things, I'm going to do some live podcasts at that moment. And Heather and Alex, you guys are both welcome. We'll shoot the shit live at a bar or at an event, or I just heard today, I think horse racing is going to open for people, and just all of that. Once it gets going, I want to hang out with you too, and let's see what kind of podcast we can make at that point when we can go out and meet people. But I want to thank both of you. Let me make sure we have no other comments. Let's see. Great show. Thanks for the entertainment, Alex and Heather. And I got a thumbs up and a heart. Right on. Woohoo. Thanks for everybody for watching. We'll be back again next Wednesday. We have another big announcement coming up. There's a couple of us on Stables Media that are coming up with some ideas, and we'll wait to tell you a little bit about that. And yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Thanks everybody for watching. Heather, Alex, have a great night. Love you all. Thanks everybody. We're going to end the broadcast.